You've seen how social media has gone from a novelty to a necessity, entangling itself into every aspect of your friendships and relationships. Right now, we're going to talk about how the fields of social media, content creation, and AI merge into a super addictive and highly profitable stream of personalized content. We're then going to talk about 3 steps you can take to protect yourself from craving this nightmarish brew. I'm Evan Goldstein, licensed professional engineer and data scientist. I founded AI Capitalist to help business leaders use the new tools of AI to make profits. But in this case, I definitely don't advocate doing the things I'm about to tell you about. Consider this a warning. So AI Capitalist has made a few videos previously. The first one is about how AI is working its way into each of the 6 steps of content creation. Those 6 steps were brainstorming, script editing, recording, jump cutting, B-roll, and music production. We then talked about how a business person can use AI to enter all sorts of individual personal information into the creative process. AI can then use these tools to rapidly create a personally customized piece of content specifically engineered to develop business. But generative artificial intelligence is going to merge these technologies and turn video production into a hands-off process. Full videos will be created from start to finish using text prompts. But even the ideas behind the text prompts themselves will be generated by AI. This content can be used for marketing to help companies generate value. And if you feel that you're gaining value from this episode, I would urge you to press the like button. By liking this video, you give me the feedback that I need to know what you want to see here, and you help spread this value to others. So I'm seeing a future in which the big social media companies won't just develop algorithms for recommending. Social media will begin creating content itself. You'll create an account, select your friends, specify your interests, and the video feed will begin. As you continue to watch, algorithms optimized for holding your attention will home in on your favorite subjects and begin to tailor the feed specifically for you. These optimization algorithms will use every bit of information available, not just your screen time or clicks. Using your webcam, it can see whether your eyes are looking at the screen or looking away to gauge your level of interest. It can even determine which part of the screen you're looking at and which holds your attention the most. It can measure your pupil dilation, breathing rate, and it can use all of this data as input to continuously home in on producing exactly what keeps you riveted to the app. Imagine an app more addictive than heroin and more destructive than cocaine. And this is only the beginning, because social media runs on marketing. Your social media feed contains a permanent record of your relationships and how you relate to them. For example, it would be pretty easy for a natural language processing algorithm to scan your social media feed and figure out who, say, your parents are, and what your relationship with them is like. Based on their posts, it could ascertain what personality disorders they might be suffering from, and therefore what kind of abuse or praise you received in childhood. The algorithm can then search their social media records and create an avatar of their likeness and voice. It could use these formative experiences and the personal characteristics that it developed within your own personality in your childhood to write a story that generates especially personal identification with or revulsion at particular characters. So what's the end result of this? A custom commercial of dear old dad selling you a can of Coca-Cola? No. The future of unethical social media marketing will be much more subtle than this, because messages are much more effective if they're delivered directly to the subconscious mind. Imagine a character in a drama that AI is creating for you who has a voice close enough to your father's to subtly remind you of him using some of his idioms, drinking a can of Coke. And that assumes you like your dad. If you hate his guts, then analysis of social media posts and communication, or lack of communication, between the two of you is going to show this. So if Coke is paying for the ad, and you're not getting along with your dad, streaming video would have an avatar of him drinking a Pepsi instead. And it gets worse. Totalitarian governments could figure out who is at risk for becoming a dissenter by watching who glances away from the screen when particular messages are screened. In the Stalinist era, when they hauled people off to the gulag, it wasn't about who was dissenting. The only criteria had to be you had the potential to become a dissenter. Even politicians in democratic countries could manipulate political opinions using the same technology. We've gone down a very dark little rabbit hole here, but we're not quite there. The technology still has a few years to go, and we have some action items to protect ourselves right now. First thing we could do is support data privacy. There's a movement for a Bill of Data Rights. I hope to do a future episode on the subject, but this movement is to legally protect personal and social media information in the same way that your medical information is legally protected. There are plenty of forces that want to use your data to manipulate you and are pushing governments in the opposite direction. It's your job as a citizen of your country to push for this protection. Number two, keep your children off social media. There's a lot of evidence that the rise in anxiety, suicides, and the sudden need for safe spaces and censorship on college is a direct result of exposing children to social media at a younger age. Social media is like an avatar for human relationships. It's not really a relationship. And in your formative years, when children are spending all their time on social media, they're not actually developing the skills to navigate interpersonal human relationships, which leads to a lot of anxiety later on and leads to greater social media addiction among adults. Have you ever noticed how a lot of the new graduates entering the job market just want to work remotely and hide in their closets all day? Social media in childhood seems to have prevented them from forming genuine relationships and learning how to socialize properly. Number three, there are some potential technological fixes in the works. For example, there's talk of a surgically implanted AI-controlled system which dispenses anti-addictive medications when it detects that you're being exposed to addictive content or addictive situations. That could be either based on hormonal inputs from what's flowing in your bloodstream, or it could be sensing external stimuli like the AI we're talking about. So now I've said that using AI to trigger powerful subconscious drives based on private personal information is unethical. But will it always be? If I walk up to someone in 1970 and I showed him my cell phone, he would think it was pretty nifty, until I told him that it's actually used to constantly track my movements throughout the day to market to me using my own personal information to manipulate my every decision. We have gotten used to handing over our intimate personal information to complete stranger algorithms in exchange for quicker Amazon deliveries, better product recommendations, or just because we need the app and it's easier to blindly accept the terms and conditions that include handing over all of our data without reading the fine print. We're already using our personal information currency to pay for our addictions. Maybe what I've outlined here just won't seem like such a big deal by the time it happens. AI shows great promise, but it also presents some serious risks. It's your responsibility as a business leader and as a human being to protect yourself from these risks while reaping in all the value and profit AI has to offer.